Santa Clarita, California is known as Hollywood's backlot. This year it became known for something else. It's the first city in Los Angeles County to formally oppose California's sanctuary state law.
USA! USA!
We had 6 hours solid on this issue alone.
Our flag!
They don't want Santa Clarita to be a sanctuary city.
Absolutely not.
Crime is the big concern. This week, we investigate the number of illegal immigrants committing serious crimes in the U.S. For almost a year, Puerto Rico underreported the number of deaths from Hurricane Maria.
Why is it important for us to know, in general, the basic number of people who were killed as a result of Hurricane Maria?
They would help us in a future crisis or catastrophe. These things have to be accounted for.
I'd like to christen this Friday Lion Friday.
This reporting based on 4 people who are told of the matter.
And in this age of an angry and divided media,
What makes you different from what's being done in the popular media?
we talk with one man in the media who calls it straight.
You know, the idea that, like, oh, we've heard from both sides now. Well, what often these major news outlets don't tell us, or don't tell the public in general, is that there's far more than 2 sides.
Welcome to Full Measure. I'm Sharyl Attkisson. Dozens of cities in 7 states have adopted so-called sanctuary policies that shield illegal immigrants from possible deportation. Sometimes there are tragic results, but we are also seeing uprisings by communities that say they welcome immigrants, but not illegal immigrants who have committed crimes. Today's cover story begins in Santa Clarita, California, about 35 miles outside of LA, population around 220,000.
Santa Clarita, California is known as Hollywood's backlot, where sprawling ranch land provides a backdrop for films and TV shows like Westworld.
Our world.
This year, Santa Clarita became known for something else. It's the first city in Los Angeles County to formally oppose California's sanctuary state law.
I think the best place to start might be with the May 8th meeting.
Not only was this room full with literally people standing in the aisles and in the back of the room, they were out in the atrium.
Bob Keller is on Santa Clarita's City Council.
Ladies and gentlemen,
We had somewhere in excess of 300 people here that evening.
we're going to start the meeting.
We had 6 hours solid on this issue alone
We want you to respect our flag.
of people coming before us and wanting to be heard and on their feelings of this matter.
How does this agenda item create a Santa Clarita that future generations will love?
You can call me a racist all you want, I don't care.
There were passionate voices on both sides.
To me, undocumented immigrants are the most American among us.
Ladies and gentlemen,
But a clear majority emerged.
I beg the council to vote to fight to take a hard stand, to join the many other cities who have said enough is enough.
And that you oppose the sanctuary city law. Thank you.
thank you.
They don't want Santa Clarita to be a sanctuary city.
Absolutely not. I know that this community is still largely a conservative area. And you know what? We've done pretty darn good with it. The city has flourished in so many ways. But having said that, I don't travel up in San Francisco or some of the other areas. I dare say there are a lot of people up there that would not share my thoughts on this issue.
For Keller, a former Los Angeles police officer, crime is the big concern. And the number of illegal immigrants committing serious crimes in the U.S. is staggering in terms of scope and cost. According to the newest figures from the Government Accountability Office, 1 in 5 federal prison inmates are criminal aliens. The vast majority of them, 91%, are from Mexico, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Colombia, and Dominican Republic. A full measure analysis of government figures finds over 6 years, more than 730,000 criminal aliens were in U.S. prisons or local jails. They accounted for 4.9 million arrests for 7.5 million offenses. more than 1 million drug crimes, more than 663,000 assaults, sex offenses, and kidnappings, 33,000 homicides, and 1,500 terrorism-related crimes. In terms of cost, federal taxpayers shelled out more than $15 billion, or $2.5 billion a year, to keep criminal aliens behind bars. With so much at stake, the battle has turned epic.
It's so basic. It's called law and order and safety, and we're going to have it in our country.
In January, the Trump administration put 23 sanctuary cities and states on notice that they risk losing some federal funds. In March, the Justice Department sued California. Some sanctuary cities are digging in. Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney was seen dancing and singing last June after a favorable court ruling.
A sanctuary city, yeah!
Do you see any potential downside for California being a sanctuary state?
I don't think there are really.
Pedro Rios heads an immigrant rights group in San Diego under the Quaker Christian organization, the American Friends Service Committee.
What's your view of what seems to be a movement, at least among some, probably the more conservative cities or towns, the movement to say we are not on board with a sanctuary city idea or sanctuary state?
You know, I think it's not a very strong movement. I have witnessed some people who go from city council to city council trying to convince elected officials that they should stand against the state of California. But state of California officials have spoken that this state should then be a beacon for other states to follow in how it treats its immigrant communities.
Illegal immigrant community. I know you maybe don't want to say illegal, but you're not just talking about legal immigrants.
I think at this point we've moved away from that distinction of who has status and who doesn't, and it's particularly focused on the color of someone's skin. And that's something that we want to rebut as much as we can.
Don't some people have a right to be worried, even if they do care about the people who come here and are going to be good people and contribute, they are concerned about this possibility of additional crime?
Certainly, if people have committed crimes and there's a justice system that should be upheld, at the same time, I think it's important to recognize that oftentimes ICE isn't necessarily truthful about the numbers it produces.
If Rios thinks ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, is padding the crime numbers, Don Rosenberg does not.
Especially in San Francisco, they become a protected class. Whatever they do, they get away with.
In 2016, Rosenberg told Full Measure that his son Drew was on his way home from law school when he was run over and killed by an illegal immigrant. Roberto Gallo had been caught 5 months earlier driving the wrong way down a street with no license or insurance. He kept driving unlicensed until the day he killed Drew. Rosenberg spoke at the May 8th meeting in Santa Clarita.
We've heard tonight a lot about tearing families apart. What we never hear from those people is any acknowledgement whatsoever about the families that are torn apart or really destroyed by the presence of illegal aliens in California and the United States. I know all too well the damage caused by sanctuary policy, as my son was killed in San Francisco by an illegal alien protected by that city's sanctuary policies. So for the person who said sanctuary policies don't hurt anybody, I'm certainly evidence, and my son evidence, that you're wrong. Thank you.
When the time came, past 1 a.m,
I guess we'll have roll call.
It wasn't even close.
Councilmember Miranda?
Yes.
Santa Clarita City Council voted 5-0 to oppose California's sanctuary state law. The vote was hard fought, but symbolic. Santa Clarita gets its police services from the LA Police Department, and LA is a sanctuary city.
To those who say people who oppose the idea of illegal immigrants staying here and being allowed to stay, you're anti-immigrant, or you're in some cases racist. What is your answer to that?
I have sponsored people to immigrate into this country in my life, and I absolutely believe in lawful, proper, go through the process immigration into our country. I do not believe in just opening up borders and have people come into this country and take over. It's been through an appreciation for the laws, a recognition of what took place to create this great country that is the envy of the world.
To Keller, federal laws are being violated by sanctuary states and local governments. The way Rio sees it, fixing things is the job of Congress.
Unfortunately, I think there's little hope right now for Congress to get their act together and to pass real significant immigration policies that will benefit the many people that need them. Congress is ultimately more divided than what it's ever been.
At least 16 local councils in California have voted to join the Trump administration's lawsuit or fight the state's policies in some way. Ahead on Full Measure, the controversy over counting deaths after a hurricane.